welcome to the Kindness Project live episode 8. What's 8 in Spanish? Ucho. Don't know. What's it in French?
Just
Don't know. What language did you do?
didn't.
Oh.
I did French, but I gave it up. I didn't like it.
Ons? Oh no. Uno? No,
No,
let's
no,
not
there's-
embarrass ourselves for that. I am joined- Wheat. I am joined by a girl who clearly doesn't know any foreign languages. It's Charlotte Dames.
I'm learning.
Oh yeah, you're learning Welsh in a minute, aren't you? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I'm joined by a man who has made his second attempt at writing a dystopian novel. It's Chris Dames.
I am in the middle of a novel at the minute. I thought I'd use this time productively to write a novel. But we also are joined by a man who looks amazing in orange. It's Mr. Andy Furneaux. Hi Andy, how you doing?
Hello, Chris. Before we go any further, pronunciation of my name, Furneaux.
Furneaux.
Yeah.
Thank you, Andy. I was trying to make it sound more French, mate, but clearly that didn't work. So
That's cool.
So the other thing we've been spending time doing is watching a little bit more Netflix than normal. And there is a show on Netflix at the minute, which is a bit amazing. Do you want to tell our audience about it?
Oh, the 100 Humans. Oh, so funny.
So it's a show on... Andy, have you seen this show?
No.
Let me tell you about it. It's this show, and effectively it's a science show. So they talk about social psychology and how humans behave. But really, the genius of this show isn't in the psychology.
No.
It's just in some of the characters they've picked to participate in these experiments.
Yes.
And the weird thing is there are two characters in particular that we're a bit
coming up.
obsessed with. Do you want to tell our audience a little bit about them?
No, you do it.
All right. So there's one guy. Now, Andy, I'm a man who has lost a bit of hair over the years, and it's like it's going from the back. How long have you been bald? I was trying to think of a better way to put
I was
that.
going from around 20, so I'd say by very young actually. So by 23, it was pretty much gone.
Yeah, see, my dad lost his hair at 26, so at 42 to keep the amount that I've got, I'm feeling lucky about that. But let me ask you a question: have you ever considered a bald head and sideburns?
Probably not.
No, and there's a reason for that. It's a poor fashion choice. But there's this guy on this show, this 100 Humans. If you've got Netflix, give it a watch. Who's got a completely bald head and sideburns, but not sideburns like it's grown him out of his beard, is it? It's grown
from his hair.
It's grown from his hair. And it's amazing.
Human 54.
It is Human 54.
Yes.
And we've started calling him Bernie.
Yeah.
He's got a nickname already, Bernie. And there's another character that we're obsessed with who just expresses every emotion by moving his chin.
Yes.
It is absolutely amazing. So give that on Netflix a watch. What else are you watching on Netflix at the minute?
I'm not.
No?
No. I've been avoiding TV. Yeah.
Probably a good move,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Probably a good move
So,
at the minute.
New favourite band. New favourite podcast.
What's the new favourite band?
Sleeping at Last.
Oh, they're amazing. They're amazing. Andy, what are you doing? What are you using this extra time to do?
To be very honest, I come from the world of DJing, and it seems that almost every DJ that I know is doing a Facebook Live show.
Yeah.
So I'm tempted to get involved, but life as always is hectic. But do you know what? To be honest, yeah, loads of my friends doing it, and it's great. And now I'm getting invites to quizzes that are taking place on Wednesday and things like that. So yeah, there's lots going on to try and occupy people's minds.
Yeah, and I've never been on Zoom so much. Do you know what I mean? We had a Trivial Pursuit game on Zoom, didn't we?
Yes.
and we're just communicating with people a lot more. And I think, as we said before the podcast started, technology enables us to feel. For me, it isn't the same, but technology is allowing us to feel a little bit more connected at the very least. Big shout out to some of our live viewers. Thanks for Mike for tuning in. Amanda, Trev, Kelly, Sarah, thank you. Joe, thank you. Steve, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. So that's good. One thing I want to mention is today's question of the podcast. How can people give us answers, Charlotte?
Well, we have a Twitter. We have a Twitter at Honor Kindness.
I don't know. I did a little dance there.
If you're watching us live, we're already on our Facebook page, so welcome. But it's The Kindness Project in the search bar on Facebook. We have an email, ola@thekindnessproject.co.uk, and if you just search us into Google, we are the first thing that comes up, which is pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome. Yeah, it took a while to get there, but now we're there. And you can check out all of the previous episodes of the Kindness Project on the website. We've got now 116 episodes on there. There's a certain gentleman who is one of our most popular podcasts ever, who we've got as our first ever live guest. So thank you, Andy, for joining us. I really appreciate it. This is like breakfast telly, isn't it? All this sort of like live. I'm doing a live feed, and it's all quite exciting. But what we'd like to do is get your answer to our question of the podcast. What word would you really not like to be taken out of your vocabulary? Vocabulary? Vocabulary. What would be your word, Charlotte?
I don't know. There's lots of like little words that I use all the time, and I think I'd probably have difficulty filling in the spaces, but they're not that interesting of words.
Go on, what one?
Like, I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have the word dude.
Dude.
Dude, what?
Sorry, you out of all of the words in the dictionary, you get the word dude.
I told you they were little words. Like, you know when you say things and they kind of become part of your like everyday language, and you can't quite imagine speaking without them.
How often do you use the word dude?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I refer to loads of people as dudes.
Right, who's like right? I'm just because dude to me is like an 80s thing. Like, so the fact that dude is coming back into...
It's just me.
Oh, it's just you. Yeah, just the word dude. Okay, fair enough.
This is one of those words that just like... It's not something everyone else says, but I kind of feel inclined to say it.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine not referring to some people as dude.
Do you ever use the phrase mood dude?
No.
No, of course not.
Stop.
Stop. Andy, what word would you miss the most?
What word would I miss? Do you know what? When we were talking about this before we went live on air, I think I was confused with what would I miss the most, which would be music. If it's word, probably when I'm getting irritated or agitated, I'd probably say, leave it. Because I say leave it a lot.
Leave it. Right, fair enough. Okay, and the thing you'd miss the most would be music.
Without a doubt.
What, as a DJ, what artist should we be listening to right now? Because I know you like your sort of funk soul, isn't it?
I do, but as we discussed before, Chris, when you're in a family, you're influenced by so many different members of your family and what they like. And my dad is almost 96. He loves Sinatra. So that's played a lot in this house. My eldest brother really loved Rod Stewart and the Faces. So we've grown up with that. And then, of course, there's my next brother down is really all the funk and the soul and Bob Marley and the Wailers, Dennis Brown, Janet Kay, Carol Thompson, artists like that. And then there's people that I like. But I must be honest, in this period that we're having, I'm revisiting a lot of my Rod Stewart albums, I'll be honest.
It's an absolute legend. You know what? Rod Stewart and Tom Jones are just consistently good. And Charlotte went to see The Voice live a few weeks ago, but Tom didn't get the opportunity to go and sing,
no,
did he?
because he'd already done it twice in the season already, so
right.
they can't let him sing too many times. But will.i.am did sing, and he helped. Yeah, she turned him down because 10 years previous because he didn't have an actual engagement ring. He proposed to her with a hula hoop.
Did he? I could have saved myself a few quid there, couldn't I? Just using a hula hoop.
Well, she turned it down because of the hula hoop.
Because of the hula hoop. So this time, did he propose
No,
with a
no,
proper
she proposed
ring?
to him.
Oh, bless. Did he say yes?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Right, okay, so let's get on the show. What I want to do before we talk to Annie about the amazing work that the hospice, St Francis Hospice, does, I want to just share one thing that I found yesterday, which is John Krasinski's Some Good News Network. Now, John Krasinski, if you don't know the name, is the guy who played Tim in the American version of The Office.
Yeah.
And he's married to the actress Emily Blunt.
Love Emily Blunt.
Do you love Emily Blunt? What do you
So
like Emily Blunt in?
Okay, she was in Mary Poppins, obviously.
She was, yeah.
She was
yeah.
in Into the Woods.
Yeah.
And she did that thing with James Corden and Lin-Manuel Miranda on James Corden's show.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny.
Yeah.
It just was.
It was good. So we like Emily Blunt. John Krasinski's doing an amazing thing by just sharing some of the positive news out there. It's on YouTube. We're going to try and I've reached out to him, so potentially we might get him on the show. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Hopefully that's the case. But check out John Krasinski's Good News Network on YouTube. So check that out today. One thing that we always share, though, and is an absolute legend for sharing it, Dave Forsythe has shared more reasons to be grateful / silver lining. So I'm gonna share some of those. Just while I'm looking this up, Andy, what track are you absolutely loving at the minute?
Oh, okay. So this is where I'll start to become a bit of an encyclopedia.
Right.
On the 1995 album by Rod Stewart, which is called A Spanner in the Works, there is a track called Muddy, Sam and Otis, and it's a tribute that he wrote to Sam Cooke, Otis Redding and Muddy Waters. And he's talking about, as a real youngster himself, he would try to be able to play their songs on guitar, sing it, and it comes across so good in the song. And this is what a lot of people miss with Rod Stewart. He is a storyteller. He can tell you a story within the realms of a song.
Yeah.
So if your listeners are, and your people who are watching, Muddy, Sam and Otis by Rod Stewart.
Muddy, Sam and Otis. Excuse me. Is that sort of his own lived experience? Is that how he learned to play? Yeah,
Very much so.
That's really interesting.
Because I think, Chris, the opening line of the song is, I remember when I was only 17, and he carries on from there, and he talks about how it came into his life, like all of us, on the radio. Here's something on the radio, and it inspired him from that point.
Yeah, and you know what? I think, like, what, Charlotte, what's your favourite generation apart from your own in terms of music? What music are you really loving for the past?
So
you quite like 70s rock at the minute,
yeah, and also stuff like Kansas, the Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh.
There's one very particular song by Kinks that I just
What Kinks song?
Well Respected Man.
Oh, cool. And you played that, and you learned to play that on the ukulele,
Yeah, I did. I also swiftly forgot how to play that on the ukulele.
Yeah, one of the things I'm definitely doing, because the piano is like shouting at me to learn it, so I might try and learn the piano while we're in lockdown.
Speaking of songs being used to tell stories, Lucy Spoken's music is a lot like that. It's like she tells the story of how her life, and it's not just her stories she tells, but the stories of other people, and she kind of expresses herself through music, and she writes about how she overcame her problems, and the love she feels for other people and stuff like that. Look,
I think good musicians are always good storytellers, aren't they? They're always have the ability to communicate through song. So before we start talking about that a bit more, can I share Dave Forsythe's Reasons to be Grateful / Silver Linings? So do you want to...
Yes, okay. There's an increasing number of how-to videos appearing to help us be creative at home during lockdown. This one on making bagels caught my eye this morning. I might have a go. Search for something you fancy making, and I'm guessing you'll find a video on YouTube on how to do it. I reckon it's right. So yeah, it's a good tip. I now know how to sew tiny bow ties.
dear. Where did you learn that? And what? No. There's a more pertinent question. Why did you learn that?
Snowflakes.
Where was it on YouTube?
No.
All right.
I found a website dedicated to sewing, and I was just scrolling through.
Bow ties. I need more bow ties.
And I was
Mark.
trying to learn how to make these little roses, but I didn't have any spare hairbands, so I was like,
Yeah.
just bow ties.
So the other thing he shared is the fact that there's loads of celebrities who are sharing their skills and expertise, including Joe Wicks, who we were talking about yesterday, who's doing some amazing work with some personal training sessions. But apparently you can also, at 10 o'clock on YouTube with Mine in Class, you learn music. Ocean Mabuse from... Strictly Come Dancing is doing a dance class at 11:30. Carol Vorderman's doing maths at 1 o'clock. Ben Snow's doing history at 2. David Williams has got an English lesson at 3. And Jamie Oliver's got a food lesson at 5:30. So if you want to learn all those things while you're off, you've got the opportunity to do that. And thanks to Dave for every single day continuously sharing stuff with us that we can learn. Now, Andy, what I want to do, and thanks for coming on, we really appreciate it, mate. What I want to do is just talk about the amazing work that the hospice does normally, but particularly at times that we've never seen before. So tell us a little bit about the work. Firstly, the hospice does normally, for those who don't know you and don't know the hospice, but also how it's been impacted in recent times.
Okay, that's really quite easy and straightforward to do, Chris, because the hospice opened its doors some 35 years ago. For those that don't know, we're based at Havering Axe Bower, which is Romford. We care for patients and patients' families with any life-limiting illness. A lot of people think we are a cancer charity. Not so, because we're dealing with everything from heart disease, motor neurone disease, as well as cancer. We serve the areas of Havering, Brentwood, Barking and Dagenham, Redbridge and parts of West Essex. So catchment-wise, we're one of the largest adult hospices in the UK. The majority of our work takes place in the community. We are a 22-bed inpatient unit at the hospice, although at capacity we run at 18 beds, funding-wise. So the majority of the work takes place in the community.
And that's
to where we are now. I'm very thankful to say that at the moment we're still running as best we can at capacity, but I'll go on to explain why things have become extremely difficult current day.
And I didn't realise actually, Andy, that a lot of the work you do is out in the community, because you assume a hospice actually just looks after the people within the four walls of the hospice, but the majority of the work you do is community, and that's got to be difficult in current times, right?
Absolutely. I mean, Chris, like I said, catchment wise, you're looking at between 850,000 to 1 million people that we're looking after. If we're running on 18 beds at the hospice, we're not going to be seeing too many patients. And so people choose to be looked after in the comfort of their own home, but also residential homes, nursing homes. The hospice at home team literally go across the community.
It's just one quick shout out. We've got Dawn watching, and Dawn says the work that the hospice does is absolutely amazing. Dawn actually did I know Dawn, as she did a Tough Mudder, so she got herself absolutely filthy and dragging herself through mud and obstacles the other day to raise some money for you guys. I'm running the marathon whenever that is. High five.
Anyone outside your household?
Yeah, don't touch anybody outside your household, people. That is dangerous nowadays, apparently.
Well, scientific fact, fist bumps spread less germs than high fives and hand.
How about the elbow bump? We can do that.
Fun, though.
So yeah, Dawn's doing amazing work, and there's loads of people who get involved in the hospice, raise money. How's that working now, though? Because a lot of the events that you would have typically ran are sort of sidelined for a little while, right?
You know what, Chris? This is where the seriousness of it comes in. We're trying to keep a brave face on things. I think the great thing with British people is our humour, because our humour is what gets us through tough times. But the reality, not just for our hospice, most hospices across this country, is that they have kind of around about 6 months in reserves. And that is why fundraising is so vitally important, because all the time that you're fundraising, all the time that you're bringing income in, you're not touching your reserves.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you know, this country has just changed almost overnight, and every planned activity, every event that we had booked in has either been cancelled, rescheduled, put on further in the year.
Yeah.
And money-wise, it's almost becoming a crisis.
Yeah. So what? Just help me understand, because I know what you're like, Andy. You're proactive. You get involved, and you won't let this stop you supporting the people who need your help. So help me understand a little bit about what the hospice is doing to continue to raise the money to make sure you can deliver the service.
Okay. Well, there's been a noticeable improvement in online donations, Chris. I think obviously a lot of people are at home. A lot of people are seeing our literature. We're using all forms of social media like everybody does. So there's always things going out from the hospice's website, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. We must get the message out. But I think that because some people are at home, they're seeing that our work continues. So as little as you can do is appreciated. And I think that's what's happening. We're receiving, you know, I wouldn't say a huge amount, but a decent amount of online donations just to try and keep ticking over.
Yeah, and just help me understand how the care's delivered. You know, that at-home care, how is that delivered in a situation where you potentially need to be careful about hygiene?
Well, I think it's probably the same rules as it is for almost everybody, apart from social distancing with the patient. But we've got protective masks, we have gloves, we are working in that way. As part of the community and corporate team myself, one of my biggest jobs when this all first started was to try and obtain some hand gel, some hand sanitizer from local pharmaceutical companies, and which I managed to do.
Yes.
And because all of those things are an essential tool, even now, just to carry on the day-to-day work.
Yeah.
But if let's be real about it, Chris. If someone's at end of life and the nurses have got to go in, they've got to go in. And
Yeah.
so you just have to protect yourself as much as you can with social distancing, but try and give that patient the best care that we can.
Yeah, and that's where being kind really comes into play, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Just making sure that somebody's got that end of life experience that is just the most compassionate you can be given the current circumstances. So help me understand, Andy, sort of where can people find you online, offline? Where can they sort of connect with you?
First and foremost, Chris, the Kindness Project, because you've been kind enough to have us on. But really and truly, anybody that's listening or can see this, www.sfh.org.uk. As soon as you go on there, you will see an appeal to sponsor one of our wonderful nurses who are continuing every single day the work of the hospice, both at the hospice and out in the community. So I did bring a little leaflet along, Chris. I don't know if you can see it in my wonderful dad's kitchen, but this is the Sponsor a Nurse Appeal, which has been running for a long, long time, but is more important than ever before. You can do this appeal from as little as £3 a month.
Okay.
That's less than £1 a week. And this will continue the work of our hospices. So anyone that's listening, anyone that can see, if you can just spare less than £1 a week to continue the work of our hospices, we would be very grateful.
That's amazing. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. And just one quick question before we move on to the end of the show. Did you intentionally wear a T-shirt to go with the cupboard behind you, or was it just accidental?
The thing is, Chris, I'm not silly. I've thought about this. I thought if I'm going to be your first live guest, I've got to do some research here. And I thought, right, who hasn't had their kitchen decorated since the late 70s? My late mum and my dad. And and I thought, do you know what? I'm going to set my Surface Pro up with an orange background. Does it work?
It does, but you know what we need to try on Zoom actually. I did an online. All of my exercise classes at the minute, Andy, are online, and I did an exercise class the other day, and somebody seemed to be training in San Francisco by the Golden Gate Bridge, and I haven't worked out yet how we get like live backgrounds on. So you could have gone like I've seen people do bespoke like backgrounds. So maybe you should get some like bespoke backgrounds in your life. Have a look on Zoom to see how you do that. And one of the benefits of doing it live and from your dining room table is Charlotte's back now. And she just had to let the dog in. How are you getting used to this new reality of working from home?
Well, again, I think this is where the fundraising team at the hospice have had to join this generation, get up to speed with technology.
Yeah.
So fundraisers like myself have a mobile phone, have a Surface Pro. We are able to work from home. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, Chris, where I've been trying to get donations from building societies, from banks, from pharmaceutical companies. There has been occasions when I've had to go out, but it's all been done within the guidelines. If there's going to be a donation left for me, it's left outside the building, and I go and I've got my gloves on and I go and I collect the donation, goes into my car, I take it to the hospice, but I don't actually go inside the hospice, I drop it outside, I let somebody know it's there, they open the door, come out with their gloves, take it in. We're all getting used to it, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And there's no argument about seeing Andy coming, because literally every time I've seen him, he's worn the most orange I've seen an adult man wear ever. You know, when you're 5, you can normally get away with it, but Andy really pulls it off. As being an adult man who can clearly pull off orange, I don't know if I'd have the ability to do it. So
you know what, Chris, I've got to be honest, it's not even a colour that I necessarily like. In saying that, I mean, it's got to the stage now across this community that a lot of people recognise this 5'2", fat, bald, orange man.
Do you remember the... I'm not saying you like this, Andy, because you know I love you, mate. Do you remember the Tango adverts?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I'm not saying anymore. Do you remember the Tango adverts?
No.
Okay, just YouTube Tango.
But you know what, Chris? Over the years, I've been mistaken for someone that works for EasyJet, Sainsbury's, anything to do with orange.
Exactly. But the thing is, when you're fundraising, you want it to be distinct and recognisable, right? That's part of the reason the branding works.
Well, you know, this is important because going back to the history of the hospice, 35 years, coming up 36 actually, we used to have a blue colour, and there was a rebranding which a lot of the community opposed because people don't like change, but also they felt that it was unnecessary amounts of money being spent on rebranding. And the truth is that was all corporate sponsored. A lot of people don't realise that this is part of what fundraising is.
Yeah.
It's going out and seeing what your partners can do. So our whole rebranding was corporate funded.
Yeah.
But being orange, you are very visual, Chris. So if I'm in the Mercury Mall in Romford, if I'm in the Liberty Centre in Romford, if I'm in the Ilford Exchange, you're going to see me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing is, and it's one of the things that we've spoken about before, you know, if you live in Havering, odds are that you've had an experience of either you or a family member being directly involved with the hospice. And when because I sort of signed up to run the marathon for you guys, the amount of people who have come to me and said, you don't understand the impact of the amazing work that the hospice does, day in, day out, supporting people. So it's been an absolute honour having you on the podcast first, mate. And as I say, one of our most popular episodes ever. I've got tens of thousands of downloads on that, and it's an absolute privilege having you on live. Thank you for spending some time this morning coming on and telling us about the hospice. So, do you want to do the end? You know what I've realised? On Facebook Live, we don't do the "tis the end" bit.
We
So do you want to do that? We just smoothly transition.
Okay, let's... 'Tis the end of another podcast.
But the end's never the end,
The
is
end's
it?
never the end, because
'Cause
the end is
we've-
always the beginning of something brand new.
Because we've got some answers for today's question of the podcast, which for our live viewers, please let us know what word you'd miss the most if it was removed from your dialogue. But first of all, let's give you some answers. Eve Keith said she'd miss the word blatantly. That's an unusual choice, but I like it. At Beware the Pension Grabbers on Twitter said good handle, she'd miss the word love. Al McCann said the word he'll miss most from his vocabulary is the word vocabulary.
It's quite it's a big word. It's a big
Yeah.
word.
Alana Thompson said she'd miss love as well, because I tell my babies every day that I love them. Chris Haycock said he'd miss the word kind, because I need to use the word nice, which doesn't imply the same thing. Mike Christie said burpee. I think he was joking, because nobody misses the word burpee. Actually, I think I miss unprecedented, which is quite a nice word. Becky Coe had a 4-letter word that starts with F, and she said it's the reason she likes the word is because it encompasses everything. You can use it in a good way and use it in a bad way. Fair enough, Becky. Trevor Robinson had missed the word morning. Sean Acton had missed the word really, and Hayley Ball had missed the word calm, because her internal monologue needs calm nowadays, so she'd miss that particular word. And on that note, it's the end of another. What?
It's joke time.
You look forward to this bit, don't you? Tell us the joke. Come on then.
Okay. All right. Well, let's pick a cheesy one out of the bag.
Right, now bear in mind that as we've got Andy on, your job is to impress Andy with a joke, alright?
Prepare to be not wowed.
Prepared to be underwhelmed,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Here we go,
right.
go on.
Why can't cheaters play hide and seek?
Don't know.
Because they're always spotted.
Oh. I've got one for you.
Oh, Andy's got a joke.
Hey!
Andy's got a joke, go on.
Very quickly, this really reminds me of my eldest daughter, Chelsea, who's 26, 27 now. My brain's gone. This is when she was about 5 years old. She used to tell this joke. What does Snow White say when she goes into a photo shop?
Dunno.
One day my prince will come.
Quite. I mean that for those of us who remember going into a Photoshop and having to get your prints is amazing. That's one of the things about technology. We do take photos for granted nowadays, don't we? One of the things Cassie's doing in lockdown is going through our old photos, and she found a photo of me dressed as a clown the other day.
Love
Do you want to give us one more joke?
Oh, sure.
Give us one more,
from-
just to top the show off.
What starts with E, ends with E. Oh, this is more of a riddle. What starts with E, ends with E, and only has one letter in it.
E? I don't know.
Envelope.
Thank you for that riddle to finish the podcast. And on that note, we'll see you next time. See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, Andy. Thank you, mate.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.